What's going on? How's everything with you folks out there? I just wanted to talk about something that is really important to say. The Tide Pod Challenge. People coming from it in different ways, different perspectives, and whatnot. These are my thoughts on the Tide Pod Challenge. You know, for people that don't know, there are folks out there who are attempting to put the Tide Pods in their mouth and see who can survive, or who could last the longest, or whatever the case may be. The real challenge itself really doesn't interest me. It's not one of my things. Hey, what's going on, Lynn? Thank you for coming through. I just want to say to those people out there who are ingesting cleaning products and all other types of things, for a challenge to try to, gain attention or validation out there, that there are people out there that care about you. Even if it's just myself, Mel cares. I want to say to those folks out there, hey, what's up, Rookie Prepper? I just want to say to those folks out there that are doing these things to yourself, you don't have to do this. I mean, I understand the attention that you may gain from it, the validation, the social media views, the clicks that you may get. It's unnecessary, and also, too, you have other younger kids or people looking at you, people that are influenced by you. Think about, how, it inspires other people to do the negativity things, to their body. It's unnecessary, you know. Yeah, you can say people are full of nonsense, but sometimes people need to be taught. What's going on, Molly? Paranormal. Sometimes people need to be taught. Sometimes people need to know that there's folks that care about folks. And I say to those parents of the children or the people that are doing these things, watch out for your people. Care for your people. I'm doing okay, Tiger. Um, the Tide Pods challenge is basically a challenge where people are taking Tide Pods, stuff that you use to wash your clothes, and putting it inside their mouth and ingesting it to see who can last the longest and survive. I haven't really gotten into any of the videos. I've seen it. I heard about the challenges, a craze that's sweeping the internet, that's gone viral and people are getting many clicks and stuff like that. Um, yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's natural selection, Lynn, but you know, I think people need more than just poison stickers. I think people need more than just a talking down to. It is a, yeah. I can understand that, wax and dubs. It comes to a point where people need to know that, hey, look, there's people out there that care about you. You know, there's people out there that care about your well-being. Even if I'm just a stranger, to those people that are doing the challenge, I care about your well-being. I care about your health. I care about your sanity. I care about any of the reasons why, you would feel like it's necessary to eat it. And a lot of people out there who are just screaming out for, help. Sometimes you got people out there, who just are not aware, that there's somebody that really cares about them, and that you don't have to do silly things. You don't have to ingest cleaning products. You don't have to put yourself in harm's way just to get people's attention. There are people out there that actually care about you. There are people actually out there that love you for you. What's going on, OKC? And I say this to all the people out there doing this challenge, all the people thinking about doing this challenge or any challenge of the such. There are people out there that care about you. There's people out there that love you. There's people out there that cherish you. To the teenagers out there, you don't have to do this. You don't have to put yourself out there in a way that's negative just for people to, I guess, validate you. You don't need to do these silly things to be validated. Hey, what's up, KK? You know, but unfortunately, sometimes people feel that way, and I think somebody needs to say it. I mean, it's easy to take these kids. What's going on, Cheryl? I'm all right. I'm doing okay. I'm not doing the challenge. I'm not about to do the Tide Pod challenge. My thoughts on it is, you know what? You have a lot of people out there screaming and crying for help. When they do stuff like this, they're screaming for validation. They're screaming for, attention. They're screaming for someone just to give a darn about their life. And I'm saying I care. Whether you believe me or not, you know, um, and trying to make other people happy and make people laugh and smile by harming yourself does nothing but make yourself the object of ridicule, of jokes. You know, um, yeah, it's silly doing that. Oh, oh my world in OKC, but people, thank you, appreciate it. But the thing people need to understand is that you don't have to you don't have to put yourself out there. Yeah, your humanity and kindness, empathy and understanding. That's definitely Christine. And I think enough people don't have that. So you find yourself in a situation where you're saying, you know what? If I'm not really getting the attention that I want, if I'm not really getting the love that I need in my life, then let me do something crazy. Let me do something that screams for attention. So why not try these Tide Pods or get some tea bags or put myself in a precarious or dangerous position just so people would listen, just so people would say something. I mean, at the end of the day, you just put yourself in harm's way and people call you stupid and people say, you know what, hey, look at that person over there, that fool. You know, where where do you live? Oh, I live in Brooklyn, New York. Yeah, yeah, people do tea bags. That was a thing once upon a time, Lynn. But the reason I'm taking the time now to say these thoughts and to do this live is to let people out there know that, folks care. You don't have to hurt yourself and harm yourself to get attention, to get validation, to get love, to just be seen, to be acknowledged, especially if you're a teenager. Sometimes you just have to survive your teenage years. I mean, a lot of us out there have been teenagers before. Yeah, Winnipeg, okay, that's what's up. I see you out there. Um, and I don't think it's said enough to these teenagers. I know you're probably going through a rough time trying to figure out yourselves and, understand life and see where you fit in and what's going on with yourself. But if you take time to, really find yourself with people who care, or find yourself in places where you can be encouraged, where you can find love without having to harm yourself, then you don't have to do such challenges. And when you see challenges like that to anybody out there, because we're responsible too. When you see people doing these challenges, when you see people doing these things to ourselves, sometimes the best thing for us to do is not to judge. It's not to beat these kids down. It's not to beat even some of the adults down that do this stuff. It's to say, you know what? There's somebody out there that cares about you. There's somebody out there that wants you to, be safe. There's somebody out there that says to you, you know what? You don't have to harm yourself to get my attention. I say to anybody out there, you don't have to harm yourself to get my attention. You don't have to eat Tide Pods. You don't have to, do stupid challenges and put yourself in harm's way just so you could, get attention, just so you can get love, just so you can be appreciated. And I think that's not being said enough to these kids. It's not being said enough to these people that you got people out there that love you, that you got people out there that care about you. Think about these folks' families. Think about the people that they have around them. Maybe people are misguided. Maybe people don't feel loved. Maybe people don't feel appreciated. Maybe they're not validated enough. Maybe they're not uplifted enough. And to those people out there taking these challenges, putting themselves in harm's way, I say, you know what? I pray for you. Hopefully everything, works out for you. Hopefully, you ain't, you know, put yourself in a bad situation where you can't recover. Yeah, Melanie. Yeah, it's not just a cry for attention, though, Melanie. What it is sometimes people are suffering for a lack of love. Some people don't have that care, that kindness, that support. Yeah, Cheryl, it's clearly a deeper issue. Some people see the Tide Pod Challenge and they think it's just about the attention. It's just about, the views and whatnot. Thank you, Cargo. I definitely appreciate you. I definitely appreciate the 14 people watching. Yeah, it's more than just fitting in. Sometimes it's really one of those things where, folks really just want love. They just want that attention, that respect, that validation that they lack. Exactly, Melanie. Sometimes people don't have it at home. So what do? Nowadays, you go on social media and you try to do particular things. And everybody may not want to hear this. This may be boring to you. This may not be what you expected from somebody talking about this. But this is true. Because I say to anybody out there watching these videos, what if it was your child? What if it was your family member? What if it was you? What would you feel? What would you do? Exactly. Thank you, Tiger. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, it's a good topic to talk about, but it's a deeper issue. The Tide Pod Challenge, on the surface is probably about, a social media craze, going viral, which is one of the worst to go viral, but it's a deeper issue. People out there are willing to hurt themselves to get your attention. People are out there willing to hurt themselves to get your validation, to get your approval. That's something that we need to understand. You know, listen, I appreciate that, Rookie Prepper. Thank you, our native tears. This is a deeper issue for society. This is a deeper issue in America or even across the world. Exactly, Cargo. You have to talk with your girls. You let them know. You hug your girls and let them know you care about them. If any of you have children out there, I know, Lynn, you have children. A couple other folks in there have children. You have nieces and nephews or young people around you. You know what? You let them know that you care about them. You let them know that they don't have to harm themselves to get your attention. Yes, you let them know that they have self-worth. These people that are doing these things with the Tide Pods are showing that they don't care enough about themselves, but they're willing to harm themselves in order for people to pay attention to them. That they're willing to harm themselves in order for people to love them, to care about them, to say, look at how cool they are, to reshare, like, comment, subscribe to their videos. Me, I refuse to watch those videos. I refuse to participate in the challenge. I refuse, to get into it. Yeah, OKC, I mean, let your kids know that you love them, but not just your kids. If you see other children out there who seem like, they're not getting love, let them know that they're important. They're cherished. Exactly. It's easy to cherish our own, but what about those that are not our own? What about those children that aren't ours? So this is me speaking to the children out there, the young ones out there, the misguided souls of the world, that your life is important. It's worth more than just ingesting, a Tide Pod and saying it is, something for a social media craze. Yeah, no, there are a lot of factors, Lynn, parenting and all that stuff. But sometimes we start with the basics. We have to start with the basics, Lynn. We have to start with letting people know that there are people out there that care, that you don't have to hurt yourself, that you could actually start a trend by putting the pods down. You could start a trend by not eating the Tide Pods and, not ingesting them and saying, you know what, I apologize for harming myself and putting myself in harm's way and even influencing, inspiring somebody else. Yeah, the children are the future. And everybody's life, I believe, has an effect on somebody else's. The impact that they leave, the impression in their life, like a fingerprint. So what you do, it matters. It's not just, yeah, you start a no Tide Pod challenge, Lynn. I mean, it's, why not? Even some, I think I heard, I don't know how true this is. I think Tide is discontinuing the pods, the Tide Pods. If they are, that's a smart move on their part. Because I remember when the Tide Pods first came out, they were talking about how, kids would ingest them and eat them by mistake. So now let me ask the question. Yeah, no, thank you, Cali Beauty. Thank you for coming through. Appreciate you for contributing to this conversation. But let me go back to the question. So when, that's awesome, Soul. That's awesome. Definitely, definitely. That's awesome. Love all the babies. Yeah, so let me get back to the question. So if Tide was saying be careful of having your kids ingest these things and it was mistaken for candy when they first came out, right? What happens now when something like this is invented again and people see that there's folks having challenges and whatnot? What message does that send to the little children that shouldn't be eating these things, or the people that are easily deceived and misled into doing this stuff for attention, for approval, for love, for validation? What message does it send to these little kids? There are some kids out there that are smart enough not to do it, that have sense, that are being taught, that are being loved, that are not into this, that are not participating in these things. But what happens to those folks that don't have that nucleus around them, that core group, those people around them that love them and care them and cherish them? They get influenced by this nonsense. And they get influenced by people who don't care about themselves, who don't love themselves enough to say, you know what, maybe this should just stay on my clothes. Now, at first, I laughed a little bit at some of the things that people said against some of these people that is ingesting the Tide Pods and all that stuff. But then I said, hold up, wait, Mel, that's not your character. That's not how you get down. If I was to say anything to these people eating these Tide Pods or whatever, I would say, you know what? You're loved, you cherish, your life matters. Your life matters. Your life matters. I say that to the people eating the Tide Pods. Your life matters. It's the same, no difference from drinking poison. You wouldn't just take a bottle of poison that you know is poison, acid, and throw it down your stomach and hope, that nothing happens. We're not going to do an acid challenge, a drink acid challenge. We're not going to do that. So why would you do a Tide Pod challenge? When I do this live stream, I'm not doing this for the views. I don't care. I could care less if any of you thumbs this up. I really could care less. I could care less if all of you get off here and just go your way. This is really for the people out there who are choosing to hurt themselves and choosing to ingest, you know, um, nonsense. 36 minutes proceed to stream type pause. Interesting. That was funny. But this is really to those folks out there. Um, yeah, no, definitely. It's silly Calvin's Corner, but I think what's not being said enough is that there are people out there that care about human life and dignity. I care about human life and dignity. And I care about people who don't value themselves enough. Now, I'm not gonna say that I'm gonna, just be behind you if you don't support, your own life, but I'll say that your life matters. And these things, these challenges, when we see these challenges, they just, they hint on deeper issues, as Lynn was talking about in the live stream. They hint on the fact that people, don't care enough about themselves, don't value themselves enough to say, hey, look, why would I harm myself? And for those of us that find it entertaining, we're just as guilty. Anybody that watches those videos, anybody that thumbs up, thumbs downs those videos or reshares those videos are just as guilty as the people that are making the videos. Because how could you say you're not supporting the challenge if you're sitting there watching the video? How could you say you're not supporting the challenge if you're resharing it? How could you say you're not supporting the challenge if you're not telling people not to do it? Exactly. Definitely. So but not just for your kids. Don't just pray for your kids. Pray for other kids. Sometimes, we make sure that our people, our family members are okay. But what about the stranger? What about the people in the chat? Think about it. I can make sure my nieces and nephews are safe, but wouldn't you want me to pray and hope and well wish your children? Wouldn't you want me to say, hey, you know what? Hopefully Len's children is cool, or Calvin if he has children, or Soul, or Cargo 619. Wouldn't you want me to wish the best for your children, for your family? What's going on, Random? Why do people do this stuff? It's not social media so much. It's actually people. It's people. It's the nature of people. Why do they do this stuff? People do this stuff because there's a lack of love in themselves. There's a lack of love in society. We push stuff up like this because, you know what? People get a chance to look at other folks and point and say, hey, look at those stupid people over there. Haha, I'm better than them. I'm not doing those type of things. And look at me. I'm so above that. But I say to anybody, if you take the time out to watch any of these videos, which I haven't watched any one of them, like I said, I don't get into it. I don't mess with it. I've seen it. I've glanced over it. I don't support them in any way. I mean, first off, I say that I reject the Tide Pod challenge. I reject any challenge that people use to hurt themselves, be it a child, be it an elderly person, be it an adult. I reject it. And to those folks out there that really don't support the challenge, I say, if you want to write a petition or write a letter to your local politician, to your congressman or congresswoman, to the people at Tide, I suggest you write a letter to them. Who knows? I may write a letter myself to Tide, and say, what, maybe they need to do more to put awareness out there. Maybe discontinuing the Tide Pods is not enough. Maybe they need to, put more out there, definitely. So I'm just saying, everybody needs love. Everybody needs to know that somebody cares about their life. Yeah, there you. Yeah, maybe they lost a few chromosomes somewhere, big guys. But somebody needs to know they care about those chromosomes that are lost as well. Yeah, yeah. No, I remember that '93, the program. Kids laying down in the middle of the highway. But people do these type of things, random, to answer your question, because they feel like nobody loves them. They feel like nobody cares about them. They feel like nobody, gives a darn about their life. So think about it. If you felt like nobody cared about your life, what would you do for attention? You know, like I said, I posed that question to you. Put yourself in these kids' shoes. I say that to anybody. And let me look at what you were saying, Cheryl. Detergent put out paws within their fault, really. Yeah, I would say I would say, Cheryl, they face some of the blame because when they put out these pods, they knew that this stuff looked like candy. They knew in the beginning. They knew. So if you knew this stuff looked like candy, if you knew this stuff would be ingested by children by mistake, and the kids are mistaking this stuff for it, you could have discontinued this long before there was a challenge. And when I'm saying, I'm not making it up, you can Google it. You can Google it. This is long before there was a Tide Pod challenge. Tide knew that there were children that would ingest this stuff and have, so for them to continue to make it, for them to continue to put it out there, that's on them, you know. Um, but I say this, Llama Monster, common sense isn't common everywhere. Things that are common to you in the world of Llama Monster may not be common to Calvin's Corner or Lynn Denton, or Native Tears, or somebody in another country. Things that are common in, Canada, not common in America, not common in Australia, so common sense isn't common everywhere. Yeah, yeah, they were made by the older kids. Right, Lynn, you're right. They were made by the older kids, but guess what happens? These older kids, these people out there are not being led properly or taught properly or, held accountable for their actions. These things are happening. It disturbs me to be honest, whether folks want to parental responsibility needs to be considered. Yeah, yeah, we should be helping people instead of putting other folks down. But that's what's happening. People are doing things that are stupid, that are harmful, that are unsafe, and one of the first things we do is we're tearing people down. Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. I mean, so maybe sometimes these kids need to be whipped, but that goes into a whole nother abuse and stuff like that. Um, yeah, yeah, we like to say that it wasn't a problem when we were growing up, and a lot of us in here, but the reality is that our time has passed. You know, um, yeah, duct tape could cause a lot of problems. You know, I see many people say they could those who love me. Yeah, see, here's the thing. I'm glad you brought that up, Random Life. It's one thing to say that you come from a home full of love. It's one thing to say that you have this around you, but it's another thing for it to be true. People say a lot of things. If you ever notice, sometimes one of the things we do, we lie to each other every day. If you see somebody that you know and you ask them how they're doing, the first thing that a person will say is good. If I asked each and every one of you in this live stream how you doing, right? 9 times out of 10, you would tell me you're doing good, right? But here's the thing. That's not always the truth. Everybody doesn't want to say what's really going on with them. There's some of you out there that's probably going through some real serious issues behind the scenes, be it their health wise, be it financially, whatever these struggles are. But we're not going to get on the live stream and start telling each other, yeah, yeah, Lynn, but you're getting better though. You're getting better, Lynn. So don't start that. Nah, but the reality is that, yeah, some people say fake it till you make it amusement. You're dead inside. It's like, oh my God, you're live here on this live stream right now. My voice is raspy. Yeah, and yeah, no, definitely, Cheryl. But the point I'm trying to tell you is that we could say to each other in the open that everything is fine. I could tell you right now, hey, life is beautiful and everything is good, and put my best foot forward and give you the great face and put on a smile and hey, nothing's wrong with me. But come on, reality sets in. You know that everything ain't always going right with me, but it doesn't always have to be going wrong. So why do I take the time to say that, Random Life? I take the time to say that because people put on appearances. People put on facades. They say these things because I don't care what anybody says. Ain't no person in a household full of love, full of concern, and full of caring, if your child is out there doing a Tide Pod challenge and nobody's being addressed. and that YouTube account isn't deleted, or that video isn't taken down, or somebody ain't whipped or taking the trust fund away, or something happening. Because if I have a kid and my kid gets online and does a Tide Pod challenge, that YouTube account is coming down, and there ain't nothing YouTube could do about it. YouTube won't want that account up. I don't care if the kid got millions of views, millions of followers and subscribers. YouTube is going to have to come through me and get approval for that kid to come back on there, because they're doing something that's dangerous. Ain't no household full of love if your kid is out there doing something to harm themselves and then turning around talking about love. You don't love your kid. You don't love yourself. You don't love your people. You let your people out there doing these nonsensical things. People may think it's love. You may think it's support. You may think it's something. Let's be real. If you love your kids, if you love your family, yeah, I remember the cinnamon challenge. I remember that too. That was dangerous as well, but it wasn't as harmful, I guess. I don't know. But anything that people do, sometimes they just really don't care enough about themselves. It's a lack of love. It's a very serious lack of love in this world, with how we get on social media and portray ourselves and put ourselves out there and do different things. Love yourself. Look in the mirror. See yourself. Value yourself. Know your worth. Find yourself. Don't put yourself down. Yeah, it's all about how radical you get. And then, yeah, there is Logan Paul. But again, what's the thing with Logan Paul? How much do you really care about yourself? How much do you really care about your audience? How much do you care about other people? How much do you value life? Sometimes people may, say they value life. What's going on, China Berry? Appreciate you for coming through. Like I said, to me, personally, these are just my thoughts. You don't have to agree with it. I think it's a lack of love in the world. I think it's a lack of love in these people's hearts. I think it's a lack of concern, not understanding their worth and their value, the people that do these challenges. And if there's people that disagree with me, that's fine. But remember something, for those people that disagree with me and say that, I'm not putting a Tide Pod in my mouth trying to get views and trying to get attention and get love. I know who loves me. I got family members that care about me. I got people in my life that care about me. I know those folks that don't care about me. You know who you are. But that's another point. Yeah, let me present the account that presents parents a lack of understanding. Social media is no love. 7 years ago, yeah. That's an interesting point that you asked, that you say, present this counter. Parents sometimes have a lack of understanding of social media. Yeah, you can have a lack of understanding of social media. You can online, you can, but here's the thing with that. It does come down to whether or not you have a lack of concern, or if you're a parent, you would put yourself, and you're really concerned and care like that. At least I believe. Like I said, I don't have kids, so I can't tell somebody that, but from what I've seen from really good concerned parents, you don't have to be the smartest, but if you see your kids over in the corner doing something, or messing with some type of technology, you get involved, you get active, you ask questions, you get nosy. That's what I say a lot of times about my mother. She was nosy. She got all in my business. May not always understood computers, but she was always looking over my shoulder trying to find out what's what. I say that as a parent, you don't have to know a whole bunch about computers. You don't have to know a whole bunch about what's going on in the world, but you should know what's going on with your child. You should want to know. You should put it out there. You shouldn't let the child control what's going on in your household, especially if you're paying rent, especially if you're paying a mortgage. So I get where you're coming from, Random, and I'm sorry for the child that was murdered, but sometimes we're really not paying attention to our people the way that we should. And like I said, yeah. Sometimes, things happen. Sometimes things happen. When stuff happens out in the street, out in the world, things, a person being befriended and whatnot, the unfortunate does happen. Some things can't be put on the parents. Sometimes it was a situation where maybe the institution or society failed at large. So like I said, again, I'm sorry for the loss of the young child or the teenager that was taken. but sometimes these things happens to the point where, you know, society at large may not be, responsible, as they should. Thank you for coming through. You said Tosh sent you. Definitely, I appreciate it. Um, I mean, it comes to a point where, once upon a time, we used to care about each other a lot more. Once upon a time, people used to look out for you, regardless of if you were their child or not. And as time went on, people became more afraid to say to somebody else's child or to look out for somebody else's child, hey, you shouldn't do that, or maybe you should watch your mouth around adults. You know, definitely, random, you could do that. I remember when I was younger, we didn't curse around adults. We wouldn't dare do that. Nowadays, you see these children, forget it. They do everything around adults. Sometimes I want to say something to these kids and I have to catch myself, because, these kids are cursing, they're fresh, they're arrogant, they're rude, disrespectful. So, these particular things happen. Sometimes folks are not taught, maybe some people know, they don't know, they hang out with the wrong crowds. It is a tough situation, and I'll say that it is a tough one. You know, it is really a tough one, and I just try to address it from this point of view. Where, if you can, yeah, they're out of this world nowadays. If you can influence a young mind, if you can lead a young mind in the right path, you know, to a way where, they're productive citizens in society, no matter what country or culture they're from, then you've done a great thing. If you can, put them in a way where, you at least don't harm yourself, you know, definitely a different world, yeah, than 30 years ago. I definitely agree with you there. But it doesn't have to be so different of a world that we forget how to treat each other as human beings. It doesn't have to be so different of a world that we forget how to teach people to care for themselves, that they have worth, that they have value. I mean, this is what this is about. This is what this live stream is about. To let the people out there who are doing harm to themselves, regardless of what other stuff is out in the world, which I acknowledge, random. This is about letting people know that they still have value, that they still have worth. And I think that's the biggest message that I want anybody to take away from this, to, pass on to kids that may be troubled, to pass on to kids who may not care about themselves in the way that they should. Well, see, here's the thing about social media. Yeah, you say it may be hard to find them. You're right. But here's the thing. Right now, I'm online. I'm saying something that's positive. I'm saying something that's uplifting, that's upbuilding. Maybe one of you could reshare this and put it out there and see what happens. It may be hard to find them, but it's not hard for these kids, for these troubled youth, for these lost souls out there to find you. I'm not hard to find. What I'm saying is it's not something hidden in the corner somewhere. Yeah, definitely you can share it on Twitter. Like I said, if you feel like this is something that's worth sharing, if you feel like this is something worth passing on, or if you feel like making a video yourself, telling people that, what, your life matters, that, you don't have to harm yourself. Why harm yourself? You don't have to, just for people's attention, for people's love. And I say this for anybody out there that has done the challenge and survived, that I care about you, that I value your life, that I want you to live. I don't want you to do these crazy challenges just to get people's validation, just to get their love, just to get their attention. You know what? You don't have to do that. You're worth more than a challenge. You're worth more than, the views that you may get, Yeah, exactly. I challenge you all to make a video of your own. I challenge any one of you to make a video of your own to encourage the youth of the world to care for themselves, to love themselves, to appreciate themselves. I challenge you folks to do a video, rejecting any such challenges where people have self-harm towards themselves. Anything that people do to harm themselves, whether you're a child, whether you're an adult, whether an elderly person, I reject it. I say, what's the point? Do a video to encourage, especially the youth, They need to know more than anybody. These young minds out there get molded every day, in negative ways. So maybe, just maybe, just maybe there's a small chance that by me saying this and doing this live stream, which people may watch and they may not watch, maybe I can inspire somebody not to hurt themselves. And it almost brings tears to my eyes. What if I could say something on this live stream that inspires somebody not to kill themselves, inspires somebody to not hurt themselves? What if I could say something that they find that'll lift them up and push them to the next level, and really care about their lives? I don't know where this will go. You know what I'm saying? I didn't plan on talking about this. You know, yeah, no, definitely, Llama Monster. You know, sub everybody, support folks. This live stream is not about the thumbs up or anything like that, or the amount of views, because this is the thing which I've learned. One person could watch this live stream and be impacted. 1 million people could watch this live stream and nobody gets it. If all of you watch this live stream and nobody is helped by this, then I've wasted my time. And this is not about the watch time. This is not about me trying to make a YouTube quota. Um, I appreciate that. So, but like I said, it's about the kids, man. It's about these people trying to hurt themselves. Anytime you see a challenge where people are trying to do things that will hurt them and they knowingly do it, and there's nobody holding a gun to their head, 9 times out of 10 it's because they have a lack of love in their heart. They have a lack of love in their world. They have a lack of love in the society that they're living in. And that's facts. You don't have to take my word for it. Yeah, native tears, but I'm really saying this, and I'm on here because I'm hearing about these challenges and I'm seeing people, and I'm not jealous of any media views or social media views and things that people may be getting from it. I'm actually concerned. I'm concerned about the growing trend of challenges and things that people are doing for attention. Sometimes you ignore it and you say, you know what, that got nothing to do with me. I got to keep it moving. That's foolish. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, yeah, definitely. Definitely amusement. And I say, you know what? Maybe these challenges got nothing to do with me. Maybe I shouldn't say anything. No, no, Llama Monster. I know you. I know you're trying to be funny, Llama Monster. It's what it is. But sometimes we need to get involved and say our piece. This isn't about me trying to make a video that's gonna go viral. This isn't about me trying to say something that, you know, it's gonna be cool or sexy. I know what I'm saying is not cool. I know it's not sexy. I know it's not the most popular thing. I know this video won't go trending. I know this won't start a viral sensation. I know all those things. That's fine. But what I hope is that one person gets is that you don't have to hurt yourself. You don't have to put yourself in a position to get attention, to get love, to get people to care about you. You want people to care about you, get love, just say you need help. Just reach out to people and say, you know what, I'm hurting, I need help. Is there anybody out there who's real, who wants to talk about me? Yeah, no, it is about speaking from the heart. Yeah, someone has to say these things. Yeah, you're right. But the problem is enough of us aren't saying these things. We have these social media platforms. We have these voices. We have these tools. It's easy to make a nice, fun, cool, sexy video. I could make a video showing you all the sights of New York, right? Showing you all the things that are nice and cool. I could go out and do a vlog. I could do a poetry video. I could do a comedy video. But this may be the most important video that I've done this year. This may be the most important video that I do all year, because it's about lifting somebody up. It's about saying, you know what? Your life matters. It does. It does. I mean, whoever's doing these challenges, because there'll be another challenge. If it's not Tide Pods, it's something else. If it's not this, if it's not that, then it's the next thing. And then it'll be more people out there. And people don't understand, when you tear people down that are doing these challenges, a lot of times they try to come at you with the negativity. Sometimes you reinforce the negativity. Barbarism begets barbarism. Negativity meets negativity. You fight fire with fire, and you meet and hate with hate. You know, it's not just about the views. People may think it's about the views when you do stuff like this. It's more than the views. It's something deeper, on a deeper level. I mean, if you want to say the spiritual, it's a spiritual thing, which maybe folks are not ready to go there to dig deeper, but it's just something on the cellular level, the soul. It's something that's driving people. It's a sense of hopelessness. It's a sense of despair, a sense of depression, a sense of darkness that exists in people that needs to be shaken or met or fought with love, with light, with peace, with kindness, with joy, with concern. You want to know why these people do these challenges? You want to know why people doing Thai challenges? It's because they feel like they don't have enough people concerned about their life, about their well-being. You know, um, you know, yeah, they can give loads of attitude. But here's the thing: somebody had to tell me, an old timer had to tell me, because I didn't know if I could make a difference by getting on here and saying something. You know, they said that at least it's in the world. Like I said, I don't know who's going to watch this video. I appreciate all you for watching this video, for those that share it, that talk about it, that do their thing and whatnot. But the thing is to put it out there and let it break through. You know, nah, I'm not doing no challenge. Nah, it's a spirit in the sky blue. I'm not doing no Tide Pod challenge. I'm not even cut that kind of way. I'm not even cut. That's not even my character. I'm not getting on here to do no Tide Pod challenge. These are just my thoughts. These are my thoughts on the people that are doing things to hurt themselves. These are my thoughts on the people that don't care enough about themselves to realize that they're harming themselves, that they're harming their family. You know, yeah, exactly. My challenge is not to do the challenge. My challenge is to challenge people to care about themselves. You want to do a challenge? You do a love yourself challenge. Do a no self harm challenge. Hashtag no self harm. Let it trend. Because here's my problem. Here's my problem. People have issues when it's sexual harassment, or it's inequality, or it's gay bashing, or it's race things, right? But I don't see the social media campaign against self harm. Where's the social media against self harm? I appreciate that, Sky Blue, but like I said, this is not about whether I'm a good mentor or not. Like I said, I'm not as great as or good as I would like to be, but this is just a concerned person. I want to see the social media campaign against self harm. You got the Me Too's and the equality and the Black Lives Matter and this one and that one. I get it, but we need the campaign, the social media campaign against self harm. We need the social media campaign for self worth. You know, um, it's just not enough said. Sometimes people are too silent when people are doing things to hurt themselves. It's easy to ridicule people for doing the Tide Pod challenge, and that's not what I want to do. I didn't want to get on here and ridicule people for, harming themselves. I wanted to get on here and say to people that, you know what, there are people out there that love you, that care about you, that are concerned about you. Myself, I care about you. If only one person cares. And I say that seriously. I'm not saying I'm going to come and hug you and have dinner with you and do all that. But who knows, if I had the time, the money, and the energy, I might sit down with all you and have some dinner with you and make sure we ain't going to eat no Tide Pods. Who knows? But the point is that not enough people are concerned about folks when they hurt themselves. Suicide is sometimes a taboo issue, that folks don't want to talk about. Self-harm or cutting or, just a devaluing of oneself is not talked about enough. Yeah, yeah. I would give it a nice dinner. We'd have some chef, a catered affair. I don't know if anybody ever saw that black and white movie, but it's a good movie with Ernest Borgnine. Anyway, I want to see the people out there challenge folks to care about themselves, because people will stop hurting themselves, or at least to some degree, when they see that there's people that care about themselves. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's not always going to be everybody native tears that thinks this way, and I'll be honest. Well, let's look at the other side. Not pasta on the budget. Yeah, yeah. No pasta on the budget. Maybe some filet mignon, something good. What I'll say is this: on the flip side, not everybody is thinking this way. Not everybody is going to care. Not everybody is going to, look at it and say that their life is worth no matter what you do. But here's the thing: somebody needs to let folks know that somebody believes that their life is worth something. Yeah, yeah, man. I'm sorry to hear about that. So you, if anybody, know, how important this is, random. How important it is to know. And sometimes, no matter what you do, sometimes it can never change or reverse what can happen. But you at least want to make the effort and try, especially with social media. Here's the beauty of social media and video and stuff like that. I can go into a million people's homes with this video and tell people, look, that your life matters. You don't have to do the challenge. You don't have to put yourself in harm's way. You don't have to do that. It's easier than me going door to door. But guess what? If I had the time, money, and energy, you know what? Who knows? I might just go door to door one time and say, Mel cares, that your life matters. That I love the fact that, you have the ability to live on and do your thing. Now, I get it. Some people, thank you, Cheryl. Definitely, I want you to make a video. Some people will say, you know what? Hey, it's my life. I can do with it what I will. I can be who I choose to be. It doesn't matter. I want to do what I want to do. And you're right. And you're right. Again, my condolences, random as well on that too. And I say to folks, you're right. You can do whatever it is you think you're gonna do. But the problem comes is in when you don't value your life, when you let it seem like it's okay to do self-harm. There are other people who are affected by it. It's a selfish thing, you know. Just me taking the time out to talk about this is it's about those people out there who really are going through some things. Those people out there who really need to hear this, and anybody who's been affected by folks that have harmed, themselves. Sometimes, we need to know that it wasn't our fault. Sometimes we can feel like, what, these things would have not happened if we not have, done certain things or been there more. And sometimes this is something so much deeper than anything we can imagine. Sometimes, this happened when we were kids, or sometimes this happened when we was away at work, or maybe we were distracted, or we sick, or we were doing other things, and the thing is not as important. It's not for us to blame ourselves, if we have anybody in our life, that may have harmed themselves or took in their life and stuff like that. It's to try to know that, you were there and you tried to love them and support them and care for them as much as you can. And sometimes, unfortunately, sometimes people just lose the will to carry on. And, it's really not too much you can do after that. So my condolences to all that have faced that. It's not an easy thing to face. It's really not. But for those folks that are still out there and there's still time for and still going through things, it's important to know that you have folks out there that love you. Condolences as well, native tears on your loss as well. But there's a lot of deep issues that really need to be addressed. Yeah. Definitely you want to be positive, random. You definitely, and think about the impact that that this has on other people's lives and how we can be of an encouragement, and that's just what it is. You were busy cooking. You're not right. You're not right, Grim Reaper. You're not right. Oh my God. But yeah, Grim Reaper, I'm just talking about Tide Pods, the challenge, what it's about, how it's affecting people. And, it is a situation where people need to know that, look, man, folks love you, man. They care about you. That if it's not everybody, it's somebody. And you don't have to go out there and hurt yourself. If you feel like you're doing, something great or something cool or whatever, you're not. I say this to any kid out there, especially any adult out there. You're not doing anything to help yourself or anybody in your family or society. Actually, you're harming yourself. You're potentially harming and tearing apart your family and really just embarrassing yourself. and really just putting yourself in a bad way, and it's a situation where I say to folks, man, think about how it affects the environment around you, because when you look back on these things, for those people that take this challenge and then have kids, that's going to be a crazy conversation to try to explain to your kids why you were basically willing to put yourself at risk, to get the attention and love of people who probably didn't care about you either way, you know. So, wow, sorry to hear about your lost spirit in the sky blue. PTSD, that is a very, it's a very deep thing. I mean, I have family, friends, and people I went in the military with that suffer from that as well. Post-traumatic stress disorder, that's a monster in itself, and definitely shout out to all the veterans out there that are actually going through that. And, thank you for your service and all that you've done for the country. And, that's a whole other live stream in itself. I think I may have to talk about PTSD, definitely. Wow. Wow. It is a horrid disorder, definitely, but yeah, it's a spirit in the sky blue. But thank you for sharing. I mean, because, you know, people don't understand that folks go through things, man. People struggle with stuff. And the things that people struggle with cause us to do crazy things. Yeah, thank you, Double Take. I appreciate you for coming through. Definitely, I appreciate you for coming through. Yeah, everybody's going through pain. Everybody's going through some kind of suffering that, when you see them do these type of things, some people are going through it more visibly than others. Some people not so much. When you look at these people that are going through these Tide Pod challenges, there's a deeper issue going on. And maybe folks is not ready for this type of conversation. Maybe this conversation is too deep for folks. But when I see people doing these challenges, I think they're just crying out for help. I think they're crying out for support. Some people are just crazy. I hate to say it, and some people are just ignorant. But there are a lot of people out there that are crying out for help, and sometimes they're young minds, they're young hearts and souls that don't know any better. And for us to just tear them down and call them stupid and say there's negative things about them, yeah, they want attention, but they need love as well, Grim Reaper. And when we see them doing these things, they're not just stupid teenagers. They're lost souls out there. They're people crying out for help. They're people crying out for love. They're people crying out for just validation. They're young men, they're young women, that need to know people care about them. So, I mean, that's what it is, Yeah, maybe you could say some people are really just stupid, but to be stupid is to be unlearned. By definition, to be stupid is to be unlearned. As long as you have a mind that's coherent, as long as you have a heart that's willing and is open, maybe you're just ignorant. I like to believe that a lot of these folks are just ignorant, not stupid. And ignorance can be unlearned only if you want it to be, And I just say, don't give up on yourself. I say to the people taking these challenges, don't give up on yourself, regardless of what I or anybody think about how foolish you are. Don't give up on the fact that, you know what, you can put the Tide Pods down, you can put whatever silly other challenge down, and you can recover from that and walk away before it's too late. Yeah, definitely, Spirit in the Sky Blue, you can share something about PTSD, definitely. Yeah, sadly, some people just don't want to learn Grim Reaper. But this live stream right here, oddly enough, is for those people that want to learn. And even those people that don't want to learn, you know what? I fight that you one day may want to learn. Sometimes the greatest causes to fight for are the ones that seem lost and hopeless. These are things that keep people up at night. This is something that hasn't escaped me. So for the people that think I'm doing this just to do a trending video, just to have a great topic to talk about, no, I really thought about this. This is something that's just off the cuff. Thank you, Native Tears, appreciate it. This is something that really I was thinking about and mulling over and going back and forth with. I dropped it. I didn't really want to talk about this. What's up, Band Runner Squad Lit? Squad up, squad up. I'm just talking about the Tide Pod Challenge. I'm just talking about the people who are, doing things to hurt themselves. They're doing things, negatively. They're crying out for attention. They're lacking love. They're lacking guidance. Yeah, don't do ignorant challenges. Don't put yourself in harm's way. Don't put your family in a situation where, you know what, they're wondering whether or not you're going to survive. Don't put yourself in a position where you have to get your stomach pumped, and then you hurt your pride as well. Yeah, no, definitely. We could definitely bring this up as a topic on our live stream, Grim Reaper. But I definitely wanted to address this now to anybody out there, to anybody that has children, to anybody that has family members, teenagers in their life, people that they care about. If you see somebody out there with a Tide Pod in their hand, slap it out their hand, throw it away, cut it up, throw it away, get it out the house. You see them putting it in their mouth, slap it out their mouth. Even if you have to fight them. Yeah, Band Runner Squad is in here. Band Runner Squad is lit. Anybody check out them. Awesome channel, those folks out there. They did a good video about how they met. That was a cool video, giving the different interpretations. Yeah, yeah, definitely. I agree with you, Random, on that. There are people out there that need to listen. You could try to slap the stupid out of them, but the reality is that some people just have the ignorance in them. And these things need to be said for those folks that that may just need to hear it. You just put it out there. You counter the hate with love. You counter the darkness with light. You just put it out there. Like I said, what I'm doing is I'm putting something out there. If the challenges are out there, then the rebuttals need to be out there as well. There's somebody needs to say, you know what, I denounce that. I reject that. I think it's stupid. It's not worth your time. I say that to anybody out there. It's not worth your time to support that, because to support the Tide Pod Challenge, you're really supporting other people hurting themselves. Yeah. Listen, all I can say is, Random, somebody needs to say something. Somebody needs to come at it from a perspective of love, with love. And that's really all I try to do with this. Yeah, definitely. This is a conversation that doesn't have to end here. It can go on with all of you that have come by this chat, that have taken the time to listen to me, to give the thumbs up, to reshare this, to do your own videos. I challenge all of you to talk about people who are harming themselves. I challenge you to speak out against people doing this, silly things, or as Grim Reaper says, stupid things to harm themselves. The conversation doesn't have to end here with this live stream. It carries on with you. And I say, if you out there are concerned with people doing things to harm themselves, if you are concerned with people who go through stuff with PTSD, suicide, lack of love, concern, hopelessness, whatever it may be, and they harm themselves, speak out against it. Because the life you save just may be somebody out there, that you didn't think you would reach. Yeah, definitely have this conversation, Random. That's all I can say, man. I mean, I'm trying to do my part because, like I said, this isn't about a YouTube video. This is about somebody's life, Yeah, yeah. You could be angry at their stupidity or whatever the case it is, Cheryl, but after you get angry, after you get upset, remember that there are people on the other side of this challenge crying out for help. Not everybody. Some people are just ignorant, and some people are just promoting the ignorance because they don't care about anything and they don't want to care about anything. But there are people who are lost, who are confused, who are just trying to be cool, who are just trying to get love, who are just trying to get attention, who are just trying to, fight for some popularity that they may never have had through social media. Let me see what you were saying. I'll be honest with you, first things to the attention I don't come from loving home. I survived it. Exactly. Okay, I got you. I read the rest of your sentence. I got you, Cheryl. I got you. Definitely. But it's important to spread that love, because a lot of us may know better, but each one teach one. There's a lot of kids out there. There's a lot of ignorant people out there who are not being taught, who are not being talked to. And it's easy for us to talk to people that we love, that we care about. It's easy for us to talk to people that are cool, that are in our circle of influence or our sphere of understanding. But what about those folks that are not? What about those strangers that need to hear this? And that's who I'm speaking to right now. Those strangers, those people out there, those folks that thought there was nobody that cared about them. This is for you. Take the Tide Pods out your mouth. Your life matters. You're worth something. And don't just take my word for it. Let yourself live. Breathe in the air. Do things. Be around like-minded people, or people that are positive, that are uplifted, that are upbuilding. Anybody that will sit there and film you and let you do something to harm yourself is not a friend. Is not somebody that's concerned about you, does not care about you. And even if you get views and pays. Matter of fact, I got something else. Since we want to go to YouTube, since YouTube want to talk about guidelines and talking about all these strikes and stuff like that. Shame on YouTube. Shame on the social media sites that allow stuff like this to be put out there, and views and all that stuff to be gained on. You want to talk about censorship? You like to censor people for other stuff? These videos should be demonetized. These videos should be taken down. These videos should be in the same vein as the Logan Paul situation with the suicide forest. But guess what? They make money. So like I said, as a whole, as society, where are we going? What are we doing? Do you really care? Is it just for the views? Is it just for the entertainment? Is it just to judge people? Is it just to call people stupid and ignorant? Or do we actually really care? Think about it. And I say this to anybody watching this video that may watch it now or watch it later. If you could do something to change it, right? Would you? And if not, why aren't you doing it? Or not at least trying, If you could change, if you could do something to change, why aren't you doing it? And if you really felt like you can make an impact, why aren't you trying to make an impact? But that's just my 2 cents. I went on over an hour. I think it's 1:30 in the morning, East Coast Standard Time. Again, your life matters. Take the Tide Pods. Get them out your mouth. Don't do stuff to self-harm yourself. Anybody out there, there are people out there that are concerned. There's suicide hotlines. There's counseling places you can go. There's resources, tons of free resources in your city, states, or local locales, and if not, just holler at somebody that knows. Much love to you all. Spread love. It's the Brooklyn way. Yeah, your life matters.